welcome to the Progressive Perspective with Ron Rivers. In this episode, we're going to discuss why never change is the worst marriage advice ever. Now, it may seem like a really odd topic to be discussing from the progressive perspective, but the underlying theme is about language. As the progressive movement continues to grow and evolve in the United States and around the world, one of our most pressing challenges is to better shape the language in which we communicate with. Language has always been the determining and defining factor of our success as a species. As our language has evolved, so have we as individuals. For this discussion, I'm going to focus on some common verbiage and break it apart. It forces misunderstanding. By taking a proactive approach to evolving our language, we better shape consciousness to expand progressive efforts. Thank you for listening to the Progressive Perspective. For many people, reaching our mid to late 20s kickstarts a lifetime of attending weddings. And as many people will tell you, if you've been to one of them, you've been to the majority. Many weddings have some sort of speech, whether that's from a best man or bridesmaid, or parents of the couple. And while the speeches are usually somewhat unique, one stands out among them as the absolute worst advice you could ever give a newlywed couple. That advice is never change. This discussion isn't a slight against any person who's ever said the words never change in the past. I don't believe that anyone is less of a person for saying it or giving the advice. I do think that if a newly married couple takes you seriously or takes the person giving that advice seriously, that is very detrimental for their relationship. Language matters. We are a context-driven species that owe our success to our ability to communicate with each other on a frequency that we understand. The words never change ignore one of the most fundamental truths of the universe and our lives, which is that change changes itself. No person, married or not, is beyond the reach of time. See, the problem is when we tell a couple not to change, we're setting them up to fail. As most married couples will tell you, myself included, the partner you commit to today will not be the person you wake up to in days, weeks, or years from now. And on the surface, it seems pretty straightforward, but underneath the words is context and understanding. And I think that's really what we're trying to get at with this discussion. Pulling from a personal example, I was recently at a wedding when the words never change were uttered during a speech. It went something like, you know why you love each other now, so be sure to never change. Now, we can imagine the context that the speaker was trying to convey, right? Again, this isn't a slight on the speaker. They were probably trying to say something like, you both have fallen in love with each other because you value the qualities about your partner that they have. And as you undertake this journey, never forget that you each have a personal responsibility to be the best you for your other half. You're going to change, but know whichever directions you grow towards, always remember why you're here today. Of course, that's not what they said. The speaker said, never change. As in, resist transformation, refuse growth, root your expectations of the future into the present, deny time. It's an impossible task that neither individual will ever succeed in mastering. But why does it matter? Why are we even having this discussion? It matters because as human beings, we can only advance as far as our language will allow us to. Throughout our history as linguistic primates, new forms of communication, both alphabetical and numerical, have propelled advancements in our understanding of the world. Language isn't a static entity, it's ever evolving, and it's our responsibility to challenge and change our language always. When we frame human experience through the ideal of stasis or a frozen time, we shape expectations and understandings into a form that can never be realized. This innocent misunderstanding of time and our relation to it permeates through countless aspects of our lives on a daily basis. The byproduct is the generation of unrealizable scenarios that impact not only our personal lives, but our political, economic, social, and legal arrangements as well. What seems minuscule in the moment cascades into a tsunami of cultural impacts that shape the way we perceive the world. Never change is the worst marriage advice ever because it denies the one absolute truth that we all grapple with. We are all vassals of time. Our best tool to navigate the flow is always, and has always been, our words. So the next time you're giving a wedding speech, think hard about the message you want to convey and why you want to express it. No matter what you say, well-spoken advice from the heart will provide their love with a fresh perspective. Of course, if you have ulterior motives, you could always say, never change.